Hello, everyone. My name is Devin Crabtree. I'm a graduate assistant coach at UTEP here for the men's basketball team. So my lecture presentation is going to basically go over part three in our book, The Secret Language of Leadership by Denning. Basically, that part is just covering leadership and action and basically how they communicate. Um, Denning says that successful leaders communicate by following a simple pattern. The first step in that pattern is they get the attention of their audience. The second step is they stimulate desire. And then the third step is they reinforce that desire with reasons. So obviously, as a speaker, you want to get your audience's attention. If people aren't listening, you're just wasting your time as a speaker. And these days, it's even harder to get people's attention. Everyone's constantly on their phones or thinking about their plans later in the day, whatever it might be. There's just a lot going on in today's fast-paced world. The thing that Denning says in there that he says the most effective way to get the attention of an audience is to make the message personalized and to make sure that message came from a trustworthy source, whether that's you as the speaker or somebody that you know or the audience might know. He also says that negative messages that are more attention getting than positive messages. So he gives an example of like starting your message with something like, these problems are serious and here they are, and then the audience immediately is like, wants to know, so it gets their attention. So as a basketball coach, I've been fortunate enough to work for a lot of good leaders and guys that I look up to and have learned a lot from it, and it gives me a lot of good examples for classes like this. So I'll use one from when I was actually still playing and I wasn't a coach yet. So this head coach of mine, he talked about a negative thing, and it directly related to our basketball program at the time. He asked one of our seniors during that senior's time at the school how many times he had beaten the opponent that we were about to face that week. So we're like getting ready to go over our scout and do all this stuff, and he just comes out like after practice and talks about it. And we all knew the answer. The senior didn't take him long to answer the question back, and obviously the coach knew the answer too, but he was just wanting to make a point, and the senior says 0. So in 3 years of that senior's time at the school we were playing at, he faced that team twice a year, so 6 times he had never beaten them. So the message was negative that our coach was trying to get across, but it got everybody's attention, and we kind of knew, but it was just another way to personalize it, and it was personal to us. Obviously we're competitive guys, we want to win, and losing that many times in a row to a team in our conference is a tough thing to swallow. But that leads to the next point. So the next step in the pattern is to stimulate the desire for a change. So as a leader, you've got to make people want to change. You can't just get their attention and then forget about this next step. So Denning says that failing to distinguish between getting the attention of an audience and stimulating desire of an audience could have bad results. So usually what gets our attention doesn't directly lead to a desire for change. Getting people to want to change needs to also like show positive, like what are the reasons that we need to do this change. So the negative story or the challenge that a leader will present will wake the people up. People see like, oh man, this is really a big deal. It gets them thinking, but there has to be an emotional connection to actually stimulate the change. For the example I use, it was personal because we wanted to beat that team. We had lost 6, or he had lost 6 times. Where not only did we want to win, but we wanted to do it for him to win this game. So and we had to see like the possibilities. What could happen if we could make this change and win this game. We had to get excited about it, and a lot of these stories, Denning says, aren't like the biggest, loudest, most extravagant stories. A lot of times, the most effective ones are just the smallest, simple stories. And I thought this example was great because it was something just really simple and small. And he asked a simple question, and it painted a pretty clear picture in our minds of where he was going next, and it got the point across. So I talked about that example. We continuously been beaten by this program over and over again. And that year, they were one of the best teams in our league every year. They were winning the league at that point in the year, and it was early. It was early in our season. But they were winning it and we were in second place. So this is where like our desire for change came in. So he gave us a positive thing. So he hit us with the negative thing, and then he hits us with the positive and gets us, really excited. He told us, what could happen if we did win this game. If we beat him, not only would we end our bad losing streak, but it would just give us a better chance at winning our regular season conference championship. And obviously, that gets us excited. And of course, we knew this, but just hearing him talk about it and the possibilities just, gets us even more excited. And our school would have never won a conference regular season championship at that point. And so we were, pretty pumped. I wanted to do that, just be a mark in history at our school. He inspired us, by saying that, and he decided, telling us we're going to, win it, you get a ring and all this stuff. And as young guys, we're all pretty fired up about it. But he did it, by starting with a negative. He got our attention, a kind of a crazy stat, that some guys didn't know, most guys did. And then, gave us that desire for the change that Denning talks about by giving us a positive and what could happen if we did win this game. We did win that game, so ended the streak, but we couldn't hang on to win the regular season championship in that season. They have won since then, but it wasn't that season. So the third and final step of what Denning describes as a successful leader is that they reinforce the desire for change with reasons. So the desire for change a person may feel initially, with the getting the attention and then making the desire, whatever story it is that they tell, can initially go away unless it's reinforced. And so the change has to have reasons that make sense in order for the desire to change to be sustained with people. Denning says the most effective way to present reasons that will really resonate with an audience is to give them reasons as stories. So I've already given an example of a story, that worked for us, or what I thought related to this example. So he also talks about one example is of a story that you're going to give. The story has to have a how the change will be implemented. And this one I have a good example is just my young career here at UTEP. We've had a lot of how we're going to change this program this season. Coach Terry talks a lot about our culture every day and what it's going to take to get UTEP basketball back to where everyone wants it, where the fans wants it, where the community wants it, where the staff wants it, where everyone wants it. And what he does is he uses his how as he's a veteran guy. He's been around for a long time. He's won a lot of games, a lot of different programs as an assistant, and then also as a head coach. So he gives us stories from his past, coaching experiences constantly every day. He gives us examples of pros that he's coached and what they did, and then old coaches that he's worked for that have won national championships or been to the Final Four multiple times. So these sources that he uses are very trustworthy, and it gets not only his staff's attention, but his players' attention as well. He paints a clear picture for everyone on what has to change in order for success to come here. I mean, we can't take any shortcuts, and the guys can't take any shortcuts, and just gives clear examples, and everyone believes him and buys in and wants to believe and wants to be a part of it because he's done it before. So it makes it easy for us. So he's always talking about how the change is going to be implemented, and it starts with our culture and blossoms from there. I mean, he's won at the highest level as an assistant, and started Fresno, the last school he was at. Was at the bottom, and he brought him to the top and ended up here. I chose this just because I thought it was great for me, to have examples and looked at some of the stuff that other people were posting and wanted to do something a little different. So hopefully, this is what you guys will enjoy listening to, and hopefully what Dr. A, wanted. But I think this theory is valuable because without the desire for change, people will not be excited or enthusiastic about change. I mean, you have to want it and be excited about it and believe in it. And leaders, must use a simple pattern if they want to be successful. I mean, Denning talks about it over and over in part 3 in the book. They have to get the audience's attention. That's the simple pattern. They have to stimulate the desire for change, and they must reinforce that desire with reasons. Um, it's been fun doing this class so far. Hope you guys enjoy this little video. It's kind of fun to do. It takes you a little bit out of your comfort zone, something I've never done before. I've enjoyed watching the ones so far. It's pretty cool to see everybody do this. I'm enjoying the class, and hopefully we can all keep learning and do well. So thanks, class. Looking forward to getting your guys' feedback, and go Miners.